Welcome back to another edition of the Futbol Forever podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around Mexican football. Man, 4-1 loss to Uruguay, but wait a minute. Hope. There's hope in the air. There's a feeling of hope. There's a feeling that there will be a better tomorrow. Why are we not sad? Why are we not bummed out after a 4-1 defeat to Uruguay? I'll tell you why, man. The youngins. The young guns for Mexico. This was a game. This was a game where the youngins looked more composed and they overall looked better than the experienced players. Raúl Jiménez, very imprecise, man. And he missed a penalty for the second time in his professional career. Pulido? Non-existent, man. Non-existent. I don't understand his call-up. I much less understand why he started the match. He got pulled at halftime, didn't do a damn thing. Jonathan Dos Santos did not play well, man. Another one that did not play well. He got pulled at halftime. Elias Hernandez added little to nothing on offense. He was also, I guess you can say, non-existent. But what about the youngins? Chucky Lozano, he's a young gun. It feels like he's experienced because he's been around for a little while, but he's a youngin, man. He shows he's on another level from every Mexican player we have at the moment. But there is hope. Roberto Alvarado, man. El Piojo Alvarado, what a match. He comes in at halftime, dribbles past defenders, earns a penalty. The kid, he's for real, man. He is for real. And Lainez finally gets his chance. I say finally. It was at the right moment. I think this is the time that Lainez should be playing or should be, making his debut with the Mexican national team. 65th minute, Diego Lainez comes in and he gives us hope, man. He shows us why he belongs here. Dribbling past defenders, causing chaos in the Uruguay defense. Now, sure, we still lost 4-1, but these three, and then you could add Jonathan Gonzalez, you could add Victor Guzman, Angulo, who, sure, some people might say he had a bad game, but his first damn test was Luis Suarez. There should be a feeling of hope, and we should be somewhat satisfied with what these kids showed. I'm happy, man. I'm happy that they finally got the chance to show themselves against this Uruguay team. But that Lozano, Alvarado, and Lainez trio, yes, man. We need more of that. So anyways, with that being said, let's jump into the match. The first half. The first half where Mexico was dominating in possession. I think at some point in the first half they had over 60% possession. But that really doesn't mean much, especially not against a team like Uruguay. Uruguay is a team who feels much more comfortable when you bring the game to them. It's the way it's always been for years and years. They feel more comfortable when you're the one proposing. When you're bringing it to them. Their defense is world class. Top 3 defenses for a national team, in my opinion. They're incredible. Jose Maria Jimenez and Godin. You add Laxalt in there. I'm forgetting the name of the right back. I'm sorry. I apologize. But they are fantastic on defense. This should be, shouldn't be news to anyone. And of course, Mexico's having their best moments of the match. They're having, creating opportunities on offense, but they give up a set piece. And set piece play comes back to haunt Mexico. Jose Maria Jimenez with the first goal of the match. Hey, man. Osorio would put a ton of emphasis. And I'm not trying to defend Osorio. I'm not, I'm just bringing it back because it's important. Set piece play in today's game is extremely important. I think this past World Cup in Russia was the World Cup that, it set the record for the most goals scored off of set piece play in a World Cup. So it's extremely important in today's game. Osorio put a ton of emphasis. He wanted Mexico to be better because we've always suffered off of set pieces. It's unreal, but against Uruguay and against, Godin, Jose Maria Jimenez, Luis Suarez, those guys will punish you. And sure enough, it happened, man. But, as always, Uruguay, they're extremely efficient. And when Mexico was playing the best, Uruguay was sitting back comfortably. He said, hey, I'll hit you when I want. And their punch is so effective that they really don't need much to hurt you. And this team was missing Cavani. You have Luis Suarez out there putting on a show, but in my opinion, Edinson Cavani was the one that he was their best player in the World Cup. He's out. He's recovering from that lingering injury that sidelined him at the World Cup. So Cavani was missing, but it didn't really matter, man. Uruguay didn't miss Cavani one bit. Luis Suarez scoring a free kick golazo, man. Golazo, but after the review, you see Jonathan Dos Santos, he didn't jump. He didn't jump. The ball went over his head. That kind of pissed me off a little bit, to be honest with you, but hey man, it is what it is. Jonathan Dos Santos did not have a good match. I knew that Tuca might start him because he's an experienced player. I didn't expect him to throw Jonathan Gonzalez in there to start, although Jonathan Gonzalez has been starting for Rayados, but I knew that he might opt for the experience of Jonathan Dos Santos. Sure enough, he starts Dos Santos, but like I said, he didn't have a good match. And then in the free kick, I saw some people, saying it might have been Memo's fault. I don't agree. One, it is a golazo, but if Jonathan Dos Santos would have jumped, I think he would have had that ball, man. He would have blocked that free kick. He would have taken a hell of a shot to the face. But hey, man, you got to do that when you're part of the wall. You know what I mean? So, anyways. Before the free kick golazo from Luis Suarez, Chucky Lozano, who else? Chucky Lozano earning a penalty, just creating havoc, causing havoc, all kinds of chaos in the Uruguay defense, and that was all game long, really. All game long, he earns himself a penalty, and Raul Jimenez bags the first one of the night for Mexico. But then, as you heard me say, Luis Suarez scores the free kick goal, and 2-1. In favor of Uruguay. But then Luis Suarez, he wasn't done, man. He wasn't done. He brings out all the experience. He baits Angulo to trip him up inside the box, and he earns himself a penalty. And then he proceeds to add insult to injury, to rub salt in the wound, and he scores it in Panenka fashion. Jeez, man. Jeez. Luis Suarez, he was delightful to watch, man. It just shows you. Because you heard me say Raul Jimenez, he was extremely imprecise. And, he just didn't have a great match, Raul Jimenez. And then you see Luis Suarez on the other end, and you're like, that is what a world-class striker looks like. And unfortunately, we don't have one at the moment. I love Jimenez, but he obviously, he's not that. So, anyways, Chucky, man. Chucky for sure, by far Mexico's best player. He drove the defense a bit crazy, like I said, and that is hard to do. That is extremely hard to drive an Uruguay defense nuts the way he was doing it. That's pretty hard to do. But unfortunately, Chucky, he lacked help, man. He lacked help from the so-called experienced players. Pulido, once again, I don't know what he did. I think he touched the ball maybe 3 times or something. He gave up a pass that almost cost Mexico. I don't understand. One, we were all questioning, okay, why did he get called up? But I'm pretty sure none of us expected him to start. So I don't know what Tuca saw, what he was trying to do, but it was pretty evident that he wasn't happy. He pulls Pulido from the match at halftime, and we're all left wondering why did he start? Anyway, man, in the first half, Mexico's defense looked shaky, but one thing we should keep in mind, and one thing that should keep us calm and for us not to panic, is that aside from maybe Gallardo at the left back position, none of these guys are true starters for El Tri. Araujo and Salcedo, when healthy, when Salcedo's healthy. I know he's going to be out for 3-4 months, but when both of them are healthy, Araujo is healthy right now and he's in hell of form. They're the best ones, man. They're the ones for the two center back positions in the Mexican national team, in my opinion. But right now, since Salcedo is out, you have Hector Moreno right there to slide into his spot. And if you don't want Hector Moreno, you also have other options. Edson Alvarez, I think, could do it better than Ayala or Angulo at the moment. Diego Reyes maybe could be considered another option. I know a lot of people don't like Diego Reyes right now. I don't know how I feel about Reyes because, we haven't seen him play in quite some time now. So Diego Reyes maybe could be another option for you. I'm sure he's not done with his process in the Mexican national team. I'm pretty sure he's going to be part of the future call-ups for future Mexican national team matches. But to be fair on the whole Jesus Angulo criticism, because, he didn't have a great match, but to be completely fair to the kid, his first test as a starting center back for Mexico was none other than Luis Suarez. So, I think he deserves to get cut some slack there, man. I mean, it's great. Not many defenders are going to be able to contain Luis Suarez, so hey, man, let's not go too hard on Jesus Angulo. So at the half, the score would be a 3-1 in favor of Uruguay. And at the second half, yes, man, this is where the fun really started. Although the first half was fun because, you got to see some of Luis Suarez and you got to see El Chucky Lozano, play well. And Mexico overall looked decent in the first half. But in the second half, that's when, Tuca started subbing in the players that I think we really wanted to see. We wanted to see Roberto Alvarado. We wanted to see Jonathan Gonzalez. We wanted to see Diego Lainez, of course. That's when, in the second half, that's when we got to see these players, and that's what left us with that feeling of hope even after a 4-1 defeat. So Roberto Alvarado and Jonathan Gonzalez get subbed in right at the start of the second half. Pulido and Jonathan Dos Santos, the two guys that you've heard me, I guess you can say, criticize earlier in the pod, they get subbed off. And Alvarado, man, Roberto Alvarado, the future is bright, man. He looked confident in his first touches of the match. He put the moves on Laxalt, the Uruguay left back, and he sent in a few dangerous crosses. But just like in the first half, Mexico was the better team to start the second half, and Uruguay with set piece play was making us nervous, man. And the 58th minute, Luis Suarez with a Rabona assist, and it's funny because I think 2 minutes before that, maybe even less, Raúl Jiménez had attempted a Rabona, which was a failed attempt. The ball went out of play, and it really led to nothing. 2 minutes later, Luis Suarez gets an assist, 4-1 Uruguay, and you're like, well, yeah, thanks. You had to do that, Luis Suarez, man. But I mean, he was just out there having fun, showing off a bit, sure. But he was worth watching the Luis Suarez show. It was worth the price of admission. If I went to the match, I would have been like, you know what, that was fun. Watching this guy put on a show, yeah, it was worth it. Although it was for the opposing team, for Uruguay, it was worth it. But in the 65th minute, Diego Lainez would make his debut with El Tri. And honestly, after Diego Lainez came in the match, it was just for a little bit. It was nice to see and nice to watch that Lainez, Chucky, and Alvarado trio. That completes me, man. That's what I want to see, man. Alvarado looked great. Lainez, fearless, both of those kids, man. I mean, we all know Chucky, he's already been proven. He's done it at a World Cup. He does it every week, every match with PSV. But we really wanted to see Alvarado and Lainez, how they were going to respond to this moment, to this call-up. And it was nice to see that they were both fearless. They weren't rattled. They were, it was Uruguay, 5th place in the World Cup. But these guys just are out there having fun, fearless, attacking, taking the duels, one-on-ones, not being afraid to try to get past a defender, to dribble past a defender. That's what we want to see. So I really liked what I saw, especially from Alvarado. but because he had a little bit more time to show what he was made of. But Lainez as well. The little bit that we got to see Lainez, I thought he looked good. Again, successfully dribbling past defenders on multiple occasions, and I definitely want to see more of the Alvarado, Chucky-Lainez trio. I would hope and pray that they would start in our second match against the U.S. on Tuesday night. But I don't know how likely that's gonna be. I doubt Tuca decides to start all three of them. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, man, how about that golazo that Pocho Guzman almost scored, man? Muslera with a huge save, and he was massive, man. He was massive for Uruguay all match. He had a penalty save. He gave Raul Jimenez his second penalty miss of his professional career. And then I think he also had another good save in the second half. It was a low header by Chucky Lozano, who got he was very close to scoring that one, and Muslera with another big save. So he was huge, man. Luis Suarez on the offensive end, and Muslera, doing his job, and big save after big save. He definitely kept Mexico in check, man. But let's talk about Raul Jimenez for a bit, man. Raul Jimenez, look, man, I love me some Raul Jimenez for sure, but he's the guy now. He's the one. He's the one that has to carry the torch as a striker for the Mexican national team in this new World Cup cycle, because I think they're going to start phasing out Chicharito. I don't think, we're going to stop calling up Chicharito, but, you'll start seeing you'll probably see Chicharito in the next Gold Cup. But I don't know if you're going to see Chicharito in the Qatar 2022 World Cup. So Raul, in my opinion, he's the one. He has to do better. Let's be honest. He has to do better, man. We need to expect more from him. Otherwise, we're probably doomed, man. Mexico is truly lacking quality strikers, and like I said, he's now the main guy. He's now the main guy at that spot for this new World Cup cycle. You have to do better, Raul. You have to do better, and I'm hopeful, and I believe that he will, because he's starting to get regular playing time with Wolverhampton in the Premier League, and let's hope that he could continue to score goals with them, because that'll keep him in the starting lineup. That'll keep him with minutes, and hopefully that'll keep him in decent form. Because currently, at least for this match, he didn't look too good. He might have just had a bad game, but he's the one, man. I mean, one would hope that a player like Joao Malek would start getting first team minutes, but he's now with Sevilla. He's in the Sevilla B team, I believe, and it's going to be very difficult, obviously, in a team like Sevilla, a very good team like Sevilla, to earn, your promotion to the first team and then start getting minutes in a team like Sevilla. So it's gonna be tough for Joao Malek, but I wish he could get minutes somewhere where he could become an option at the striker position. But anyways, you have other young guns like Alexis Vega. You have JJ Macias from Chivas. You have Saldívar, who I thought didn't look too bad when he came in. It was weird. I think he was wearing number 14, and it was weird to see someone with number 14 that wasn't Chicharito. But anyways, yeah, man, a 4-1 loss against an Uruguay team. It does feel a bit undeserving, but honestly, it's not the most important thing. I thought Mexico maybe deserved, not the victory, definitely not. Mexico didn't deserve to win. I'm not trying to say that. But I think the score line, the 4-1 score, is a little harsh. But again, it's not the most important thing. To me, the most important thing is seeing these young players and seeing how they responded to the moment, and I think they delivered. So that, to me, was what I took away from the match. And this loss, honestly, shouldn't surprise anyone. I didn't believe that Mexico was going to win. My heart wanted it, but my brain was telling me, hey, man, it's going to be tough to beat this Uruguay team. It's pretty much the exact same World Cup team that plays fifth in that World Cup in Russia. So, yeah, it's not a surprise to anyone that Mexico lost. A young Mexico lost to this Uruguay. But, again, Mexico didn't have the starting defense. You didn't have Araujo, you didn't have Salcedo, or Hector Moreno. There was it wasn't. You're missing Hector Herrera. You're missing important key players that are still part of this Mexican national team. Now, these are the games, man. These are the games that actually teach you something. You can truly learn from games like this versus a world-class opponent. This loss will teach you something. And, a victory, a 3-0, 4-0 victory over a lower tier rival, a Molero team, let's just call it as it is, would only give Mexico false hope. I would rather take a 4-1 loss to this Uruguay team and have our young players learn from it and learn from that experience than beat a team 5-0 and, give all the fans and the players a false sense of hope. There definitely is some work to do, for sure. But the future is bright, man. The future is bright. We have some interesting players, interesting prospects that could hopefully turn into something. We'll see in January if America ends up selling Lainez. I have the feeling they're going to ask for a ton of money for Diego Lainez. There were rumors that America rejected offers from Roma for Diego Lainez. That's the thing. I want Diego Lainez, sure, to play in Europe, but I'm a little afraid of him transferring to a team like Roma and then being relegated to the bench. Not that I don't believe that he has the quality to earn minutes with them, but I don't know how much of an opportunity, a stacked team like Roma would give Diego Lainez. I'd love to see it, but it makes me a little nervous. We'll see. We'll see in January if he makes a move. I really doubt it because America is going to ask for crazy amounts. I have a feeling for crazy amounts for Diego Lainez. And Roberto Alvarado too, man. I want to see these two youngins export as soon as possible. Start, even if it's to the Netherlands, you know what I mean? A team like PSV, like Ajax, like maybe you go to Portugal, you play in Porto, you play in Benfica, I don't know. But get minutes, get better, leave the Liga MX, because, I think you see how much Chucky has developed in such a short period of time with PSV that it shows you the road that these youngins like Alvarado, like Lainez need to take. They need to be exposed to different trainers, to different training methods, to a different style of play. And I don't know. I just want to see these kids get exported, as soon as possible, but not just get exported to any team, to a big club. I wanted to see them get minutes in the European leagues, in a good European league. So, please, man, please, as a final ask before we end the podcast, please, por favor, more of the Alvarado, Chucky, and Lainez trio. My body needs it, man, and I think yours does too. And anyways, man, that was a little cheesy. Anyways, thank you guys for listening, man. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I didn't expect to record a podcast today, but I definitely wanted to share my thoughts on and my overall sensations on this friendly versus Uruguay 4-1 loss. But once again, we're left with a feeling of hope, and I think the future, once again, for the millionth time, the future is bright. Once again, thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Futbol forever out.